Okay, it's Sunday again, and we've got a game lined up. It's meeting engagement, as you can probably tell by the deployment, and it's Vampire Counts versus Ogres at 2,400 points. So, obviously, I was playing Ogres, I'm playing Vampire Counts, so I'm going to run you through my list. So, first up, we have 5 dire wolves, then we have a spirit host, 20 ghouls in the building, 6 crypt horrors, 20 zombies with the Master Necromancer, Mortis Engine, which is partially assembled and just started painting it now, so maybe that'll get one done one day. We have 30 skeletons with the Vampire Lord in. Then we have 20 Graveguard, there's a Necromancer just chilling out with him for a bit. We have a proxy for a Terrorgeist, which probably one of the rare chances I get to actually use my dragon model for something, so I'll just give that a go. And then we have 20 zombies with a, 40 zombies with a Ken Wraith, and that's it. I rolled to see if anything didn't come on, and luckily I rolled 2 up for everything, so everything's deployed. And I won the roll, so I had to deploy everything first. So hand over to Si, see what he's got in his army and what he hasn't got.
Okay, like I said, he beat me on the dice roll, so deployed first. Unfortunately for me, I did roll some ones. My Iron Blaster and my Ogres, which is particularly annoying because that's the Gut Star with the BSB and the Slaughtermaster General. So I have no magic defense against a very magic heavy army for the first turn. So yeah, it's going to be bad times, I think. But as for deployment, I've got my Mournfang on the left. I have a proxied unit of Man-Eaters, there's 6. There is a captain. The front rank all have extra hand weapons, and the back rank all have great weapons. Then I have a unit of 6 lead belchers, so you can see that we identified that we need some chaff removal capability, so I've taken some of them. And I've got a couple of saber tusks as well over there, so facing off against all these chaff. So yeah, and then also back here I've got an Iron Blaster and a unit of Iron Guts with BSB and the Slaughtermaster as general. So yeah, I get to roll a dice, and if I roll a 6, I can choose to go first. Well, I don't. I was actually considering taking first turn if I moved it, because then I might have, I'd have the rest of my army on the board, and I'd have some magical defence. But yeah, so Ollie is going to go first. So we will see you at the end of Vampire Counts Turn 1.
Okay, it's the end of Vampire Counts Turn 1, and I declared a charge with the dire wolves on one of his saber tusks. Actually made it. And as you can probably tell, it didn't end very well. Right, so I moved the Terrorgeist up quite aggressively, with obviously being within 12 of the general, I was able to march. I moved the Ken Wraith out of the unit of zombies. These guys just hung back a bit and just generally moved everything up, including the spirit host. Wolves have to stay in the building. Then in the magic phase, because obviously I'm uncontested because of his lack of a caster, I tried to cast Raise Dead, but he unfortunately managed to dispel it only just. Well, exactly right, so that was a bit of a shame. Could have really done with that. And then, what was the other thing I tried to do? Oh, Gaze and Gash. If I'd Gaze and Gash at the lead belchers in the building. Managed to kill one of them, do 2 wounds, or 1 wound to another. 2? Yeah, I did 4 wounds total, yeah. And then I cast Invocation, got 10 more zombies, I think 7 more skeletons, and then another 11 more zombies in this unit, so that helped. That was it for magic. And then in the shooting phase, fired my Terrorgeist at the Mournfang, did 5 wounds to them. Unfortunately, he passed his break test, which is a real shame because the BSB wasn't on the table, so if he'd failed that, it would have gone off the board, thus saving my Terrorgeist, but then he probably would have just rampaged through his army, so I can't really so I killed 1.5 Mournfangs, so it's not too bad. And that's it. So the end of Vampire Counts turn 1.
Okay, end of Ogres turn 1. My reinforcements came in. Unfortunately, following the letter of the law written by Mr. Ward, they came on facing like that, which is obviously a big problem when your whole army is deployed like that. So they were totally out of the arc of being able to do very much useful. As was this, who then came on. Obviously couldn't do it over here because the Mornfang was still here. So yeah, to give him any chance of being able to do anything, he had to go there really. So you know, I had to forego these two guys, but yeah, that's the problem of rolling the one. In the movement phase though, I charged a Saber Tusk into the Spirit Host, try and hold it up for a bit, move the other Saber Tusk around, and I charged the Mornfang into the Terrorgeist. Magic phase, I cast Ball Gorger on the Man-Eaters, miscast, killed 2 Ogres and wounded both my BSB and my Wizard. BSB failing his lookout, sir. Shooting phase was pretty miserable. Obviously without the Iron Blaster, it was just down to the Lead Belchers, who shot at the Crypt Horrors and did nothing. In close combat, the Spirit Host managed to wound my Saber Tusk once, but because I had a flank charge, I still won the combat by 1 and wounded it once. Then over here, as you can see, there's no Terrorgeist. It went first and managed to do the last wound to one of the Mornfang, taking it out. But then I rolled pretty jammily and basically killed it and overrun, which is quite nice because obviously if I hadn't have done that last wound to it, needing 6s, and I managed to roll 2 6s, which was handy, and Ollie only regenerated one of them. And basically, I would have been stuck in place as per the new FAQ ruling. So yeah, I managed to get to overrun for once against Ollie's army, and yeah, I very nearly went off the board there. I managed to roll an 11, hence why they're over there. So yeah, a reasonably successful first time. I got rid of the Terrorgeist, although it did unfortunately cost me 2 Ogres and a wound on both my General and BSB, but yeah, it's not bad. Yeah, I've had worse turns.
Pretty standard.
Yeah, go and look up the battle report where I managed to do 17 wounds to my own army. That was pretty impressive. It was one against the Bretonnians, I believe. But yeah, that was a good turn. So it's now on. We'll see you at the end of Vampire Counts turn 2.
Okay, it's the end of Vampire Counts turn 2. I just moved everything up again. Necromancer bailed out of the Graveguard. The Reliquary rolled 5 this time. Last time it rolled double 1, managed to wound to itself and only give regen to these. But this round it gave everyone 5, which included the Graveguard at the time, the Skeletons, the Crypt Horrors, and the Zombies. And then I just moved the Cairn Wraith up here just to get in his grill. That should mess him up a bit. And that was pretty much it for movement. Then in the magic phase, I managed to cast Gazing with Gash, do 4 more wounds to the Lead Belchers, but he passed his Leadership 7, even though he's out of BSB rank. It said to Sire, his Leadership 7 is Leadership 10 to anyone else.
Unfortunately, Leadership 10 to me is Leadership 2 to everyone.
Yeah. So yeah, and that was pretty much it. So I was sent to cast Raise Dead, but managed to dispel it, and that was it. So I only rolled a double 2 for the magic phase, and with no channels, so it was a bit of a shame. So that's the end of Vampire Counts turn 2.
Okay, it's the end of Ogres turn 2. I had to start getting a bit proactive and start putting down some of his troops. So I charged the Man-Eaters, who are here, into the Crypt Horrors. No one else charged, everyone just kind of moved around. In the magic phase, I managed to get Troll Guts off on this unit. Unfortunately, the Man-Eaters were just out of range of the other guys. And yeah, then in the close combat, I had a very, very disappointing close combat phase. In that, basically, the front rank of the Man-Eaters performed admirably, and I managed to kill. Do basically 8 wounds to them. And then, unfortunately, however, or 6 wounds, sorry, they got the flaming banner. But unfortunately, Ollie then got ridiculously jammy and managed to do 9 wounds back. He actually just completely beat the crap out of me, which is something he always manages to jam stuff when he fucking needs it, which is really annoying. So yeah, unfortunately, I don't rate my chances now, because these Man-Eaters basically had to wipe those guys out, and now he has the ability to heal them back because the unit isn't gone. I am basically screwed. So yeah, not looking good. The Spirit Host lost another wound over in the combat there. So yeah, it's things are looking now not so good. That needed to steamroller, and unfortunately it bounced like a rubber ball. So yeah, unfortunately that is bad times for me. So yeah, it's now damage. It's now got to be some kind of damage limitation for a turn to see what happens at the end of Vampire Counts turn 3.
Okay, it's the end of Vampire Counts turn 3. Got quite aggressive here. I charged the Ghouls into the flank of the Man-Eaters, and then I charged the General's unit into his General's unit for smackdown. I moved the zombies up just to get in the way of these. The Canrace turned around and moved forward. Everything else just kind of moved up to support each other. Then in the magic phase, I managed to cast Raise Dead and summon 12 zombies just to redirect the Iron Blaster. And then unfortunately I miscast doing that. So I had to roll twice because of the Reliquary. And rolled a 5 both times. So got a bit lively. So obviously chose the 5. I think I killed 5 zombies and did a wound to my Necromancer Lord, which I represented there. They failed their regen saves. So that was it for magic. The shooting phase, there was nothing, because I tried for his Banshee Howl, but most things were out of range or in combat. And then in the close combat, he tore up my Crypt Ghouls. There's only one left now with 2 wounds left on it. And but then I managed to kill, I think, 3 of his Man-Eaters. So it was actually a draw. The Spirit Host fluffed his attacks again and actually got killed by this lone Sabertusk, which is quite pathetic. And then in this close combat, I challenged him, he declined, so I sent his BSB to the back. Did 5 wounds, then the Skeletons did a further wound. And he lost the combat by 1, but unfortunately passed his stubborn. Was it stubborn 9? Wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, stubborn 9. So yeah, so that was a shame because I was kind of hoping that'd go pretty well. Yeah, so that's it. So that's the end of Vampire Counts turn 3.
Okay, it's the end of Ogres turn 4, and yeah, the pretty much my little redirecting cats sort of moved in. They've kind of done their job now. I wasn't too sure what to do with them. Oh, I've just thought we forgot to do the close. Okay, basically end of Ogres turn 4. The Sabertusks have just sort of moved in and around. There's not really too much for them to be doing around now, so they're just kind of getting in. The Morfang charged the zombies, and you might be able to see it went rather well for them. So yeah, they charged in. Magic phase was pretty much null and void. There was no point in even bothering trying to cast spells. I didn't want to risk because Ollie got a channel. I rolled a 5 with 4 and a 1, so he had same number of dice as me. There was just no point, so I just went straight on to shooting. I misfired with this guy, so I can't shoot until, well, being this is turn 4. Basically, yeah, it's probably not going to get to shoot again. So it's basically been useful once, and it missed. It's been able to fire once, so pretty pathetic. It's obviously because it did quite well last game. So yeah, about another 20 games and I might actually hit something with it now.
Well, you said last game it popped its 6-game cooldown.
Yes, yeah. So yeah, it's on. It's
5 more to go.
Yeah, it's basically working as intended. My lead belchers fired at the grave guard. I managed to do 3 wounds to them. The 2 man-eaters mauled the unit of ghouls. However, just managed to get enough combat res in return to sort of nullify that. So they're still locked in. It's been a draw basically all the way through, which is pretty impressive. The unit is really quite powerful. My plan obviously was to try and blow through that unit as quick as possible, but the issues with deployment and then just sort of the lack of rolling very well, and I just kind of wasn't able to pull it off. But yeah, I managed over here to regain some honour. I did 26 wounds to the unit of zombies and just wiped them out through crumbling. Although now, unfortunately, they're staring down a flank charge in the arse by Mr. Cairnwraith. So yeah, a bit shitty. So yeah, it was. And over here, I managed to do 5 wounds, or 6 wounds to the skeletons, and he managed to put a wound on his general, which was rather nice. However, I was lucky because his general fluffed most of his attacks and only managed to do 2 wounds, with the skeletons doing another 1 wound. So yeah, the sort of combat is raging here. So we'll have to see how this goes. And that was pretty much it for Ogres turn 4. So we'll see you at the end of Vampire Counts turn 5.
Okay, we got a bit mixed up last turn. It was in fact Ogres turn 3. So this was actually Vampire Counts turn 4. So what happened? Well, everything just kind of moved up. The Graveguard charged into the Saber Tusk, and that was pretty much it for charges. Oh, the Cairnwraith elected to charge the Mournfang, so wisely decided to flee and fled through his unit. And the Cairnwraith pursued, rolled a whopping 18. But unfortunately, because they fled through the unit, he couldn't catch them, so he ran straight into the Iron Guts. Then the Reliquary went off, managed to kill one of the Saber Tusks with its, I'm not sure what it's called, but the thing it does, wounded those, killed one of those. Granted regen. Then in the magic phase, rolled I think 7, so I got a channel and had 6. I cast 3 dice, level 2 invocation, and he dispelled it with his dice. Rolled relatively low. He still has some dice left though. I think he used 3 dice for that. Then I cast my Vampire Lord using 2 dice, so I used 2 dice and dispelled that. In fact, he rolled 4. Sorry, he rolled 4, and so I only rolled 3 dice. Then he rolled 2 dice, and so I only rolled 2 dice and dispelled it. Then he rolled 2 dice. Oh, sorry, it was 3. 3, 2, 2. So he rolled 2 dice. So I had 1 dice left. Rolled it and dispelled that as well. So he dispelled all 3 invocations with a handful of dispel dice, which was simply amazing. He had no dispel scrolls or anything, so as you can imagine, I was pretty annoyed by that. I don't think it's ever happened to anyone, let alone Sai. So Sai's luck is turned around a bit. Unfortunately, in the close combat phase, it didn't go so well. The man-eaters finally succumbed to just the sheer amount of ghoul attacks.
Oh, man-eater.
Man-eater, yeah, the captain went down with his ship, as I put it. The Grave Guard obviously slaughtered the Saber Tusk with barely breaking a sweat. And then in this combat, the Vampire Lord went nuts and killed 2 ogres outright and did a further wound. Then Sai hit back, killed what's that, 6 skeletons, yeah. Fell with parries and that. But I ultimately won the combat, and he was stubborn 9 and rolled a 10. And obviously fled off the board. So yeah, so that was his whole his biggest unit, and other than some fleeing Mornfang, his Iron Blaster and 4 Lead Belchers. I think was that the Saber Tusk died, didn't it? Yeah. So that's all he's got. So consequently decided he's decided to concede at this point, which is fair enough, because I think that's over. You know, there's I don't think there's any way he can come back from that. I've got all my stuff bearing down on him. So yeah, what a good game though. I was certainly more aggressive than normal. Making that charge with the Vampire Lord into his unit definitely paid off, although I felt it was risky at the time, needing a 9 and obviously being unsupported totally. But luckily it worked out for me, which is good. I think it's in large part to Cypher getting one of his magic offers. But I mean, you know, that was just he wouldn't have known what I had ordinarily, so he can't really beat himself up too much for that. I'll let him talk you through what actually happened there. In terms of units, I don't think I lost much at all. I lost my dogs and my Terrorgeist and a Spirit Host. Everything else held on just. This unit did pretty well, tanking his man-eaters. These guys obviously saved the day. Zombie Bunker did what bunkers do. This was awesome. Killed a Saber Tusk and gave regen to everyone. Obviously the +2 to casting really helped, although I had some pretty bad magic phases, just because I was rolling off Beast for his dispelling. Graveguard didn't do a lot. These zombies really helped because they stopped the flank charge, but they weren't on the list, they were just created, so that's fine. The skeletons held out really well. I was a bit worried they were all going to die, but they survived quite a long time. And the Vampire Lord was just awesome. He killed he killed like something like 5 or 6 Iron Guts by himself, which is really good. Oh, the zombie unit died as well, sorry. But, you know, when Mornfang charge in the flank and do 26 wounds and blow you up, there's not a lot of people who could stand up to that, so which is fair enough. So, yeah, so really good game. Really enjoyed it. I certainly like this list. I like the Terrorgeist. I was a bit, you know, I took a big risk putting him there, because it was no he was going to wipe out the unit, but it was one of the few things I had to really deal with these Mornfang, because as we saw, the Mornfang just blow through undead like you wouldn't believe, so I had to do something. So yeah, I'll certainly take a Terrorgeist again. They seem pretty good. But yeah, overall went really well, so I'm more than happy with that. Spirit Host let me down, but never mind, can't win them all with him. Yeah, I really like this scenario, especially when I don't roll any 1s, which is really handy. So yeah, I'm just waffling now, so I'll hand you over to Si, see what he thinks of the game.
Yeah, it was a good game. It was good fun. Well, Ollie just said it's great when you don't roll 1s. Unfortunately, yeah, for this scenario, I rolled 2. And that basically kind of bollocks me really, because without my Iron Blaster and without my my big unit, I was a bit screwed. I know they came on my first turn, but the trouble is that as we'd not really looked at it properly in the rules before about how reinforcements come on, and the fact that you can't move and you have to be parallel with the board edge on a game where everyone's deployed diagonally is pretty terrible, because unfortunately that's kind of what I feel did me a bit, because the plan was the man-eaters were tasked with destroying the crypt horrors, and then trying to work their way through through the army line and get in around the back. And they probably would have done really well if I'd managed to sort of support them, because I figured what they needed, because certainly the way Ollie had deployed, he'd been pretty clever with his deployment, as he usually is, and he'd make sure everything is adequately supported. So it was a bit of a kind of lone ranger manoeuvre, but it would have paid off, because, like I was saying, if I'd had the Iron Blaster, because unfortunately when the Iron Blaster came on, it had either the choice of coming on over here and not doing anything, or it had the choice of coming on here, and it still unfortunately couldn't do anything, because of the position where the Mournfang were deployed. I just couldn't get them in to be any use, so that was a bit unfortunate. But had I had the same kind of luck as Ollie did, then yeah, I might have been able to kill a couple of those guys, because being able to, if I'd killed or even killed one of them, and then had these guys managed to do some wounds to them, I might have, with it being dilapidated, I might have been able to get in there and really force the advantage. Obviously, I whiffed a lot of shots as well. So, had I actually, I think I probably could have blown through those guys, and then obviously blowing through them, wiping them out, I would have been in the position to overrun into his Lord's bunker unit, which would have been absolute pay dirt, because then his Wizard Lord would have been dead, and I would have taken away the majority of his magical assault ability, which would have been ace. That was the plan. It nearly worked. Some pretty epic rolling in the first round of combat by Ollie, scoring 9 wounds, which he had no right to do.
Was only 8 wounds. I think saved one.
Yeah, you do. You there's 9 wounds, man. That was harsh.
Should have saved one though.
Yeah, well, it was just enough. Obviously, you feel it with the unit man eaters, because you're pulling away great weapon guys who with the heavy armour are like 60 points each.
Yeah. I think they're more than that. I think that's 65.
Yeah, which is a Mournfang. So yeah, I mean, the man eaters are really, really good. I really quite like them, actually. They're quite characterful. They're very powerful as well. The ability to put out that large number of attacks. In retrospect, it might have been better to send them against the Graveguard, because certainly it would have been maximum profit then, because then I would have got all my attacks before the Graveguard attacked, and then the 9 from behind. So even though the Graveguard would have punished me hard.
Yeah, but that wasn't your plan though.
No, but yeah, but that was the
plan was much better.
yeah, but that was the thing. The crypt horrors are very difficult to deal with. But yeah, just then kind of it was just a matter of just Ollie got a kind of couple of poisoned attacks every time he rolled, and then that was just enough to wear him down to the point where there was nothing left. So yeah, I was a bit disappointed. The Vampire Lord, yeah, as Ollie says, I forgot a magic item. Now I did a bit of research for once. I looked on some forums and read some army lists, and I noticed that everybody seems to give their like fighty type characters, like the Dragon Helm and the other Trickster Shard. And I was thinking, why is this? So I went and read the rules and was like, oh, Dragon Helm, 2 up ward save against flaming attacks. I thought, that could work, because certainly the flaming banner features quite heavily in everyone's armies, and obviously the 2 up ward against that is ace. And then the other Trickster Shard reroll invulnerables, and I was thinking, well, that's brilliant, because you're always going to give your fighty generals an invulnerable save, so yeah, well, why the hell not? And then I totally didn't know that skeletons could have a flaming banner, because I was sat there thinking, well, I don't want to sell my BSB away, when in retrospect I probably should have done. Well, in fact, I definitely should have done. because I think the combat would have been significantly different. Because obviously with a 2-up ward save against everything the vampire could throw against me, and the and obviously his ability to strike back with quite a lot of strength 7. Admittedly, I would have been hitting him on 5s, wounding him on 2s, and then Ollie would have been re-rolling successful saves. Probably could have actually taken his general out.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then if that had been the case,
that was really scary. I'm glad that you didn't accept that.
Yeah. So that was very, very silly. I'm glad I've got it in the list. I just need to be a bit more confident when it comes to it. So yeah, it was pretty good. The army certainly has potential. Admittedly, the Iron Guts really. I mean, that unit of skeletons was significantly larger. It blew through them as expected. I mean, obviously the Vampire Lord is amazing in close combat, as he should be, as he needs to be, because, like I say, a tooled up character with in that situation would have had a pretty good chance of bending him over. So yeah, it was good. It was just more, I should have been sensible and actually played it right rather than shit myself and get him sent to the back. But yeah, oh well, such is life. We'll have to deal with that next time. But yeah, it was a good game. It was some ups and downs. These guys are good in this against this army where 9/10 of Ollie's chaff is ethereal. They are going to be pretty shit. And the fact that the small number of wounds that I can put out in relative to the large number he's got can easily be healed back. But I think they definitely need to feature, because certainly against orcs and goblins, the ability to gank mangler squigs, start shooting out squigs, and just generally getting rid of redirectors and chaff and stuff is a far greater bonus. So yeah, I think these guys definitely have got to stay. I quite like the army as it is. The man-eaters are pretty nice. They're bloody expensive to buy. They are pretty expensive points-wise, but I might give them a try, or maybe experiment with multiple units of Mournfang, because it was quite nice to see 2 Mournfang wreak havoc, admittedly on a unit of zombies, but 26 wounds is pretty tasty, because obviously, had I done it here, then it wouldn't be me crying and whinging. It would have been Ollie. But yeah, no, that was some clever manoeuvring. So that was why it was actually me doing the whinging. So yeah, it was a good game, and we'll have to see what happens next week on next Sunday's game.